Why the U.S. government fails to protect animals. A deep dive into systemic challenges. The U.S. government, as a leader in global politics and human rights, is often seen as a model for addressing social and ethical concerns. Yet, when it comes to the protection of animals, the government's role and effectiveness are often criticized. The responsibility of protecting animal welfare should be a priority, given the significant ethical, environmental, and public health implications. However, despite efforts and laws in place, there is a widespread perception that the government is not fulfilling its duty to safeguard animals. There are several reasons for this gap in action, ranging from political influence to regulatory loopholes that undermine meaningful change. Political influence and lobbying. One of the most significant barriers preventing the U.S. government from adequately protecting animals is the power of lobbying by industries that exploit animals. The agriculture, pharmaceutical, and entertainment industries often have immense political clout, exerting influence over lawmakers who prioritize the interests of these industries over animal welfare. For example, factory farming practices, where animals are subjected to inhumane conditions, receive little government intervention, primarily due to the powerful agricultural lobby. The meat industry alone spends millions of dollars on lobbying efforts to prevent stricter regulations and policies that could benefit animal welfare. This political influence results in a systemic failure to address the root causes of animal suffering and exploitation, as laws are often written or weakened to protect the economic interests of these industries. Weak animal protection laws. While there are some laws in place, such as the Animal Welfare Act, AWA, and the Endangered Species Act, ESA, they are often insufficient, outdated, and full of loopholes. For instance, the AWA, which governs the treatment of animals in research, exhibition, and transport, excludes many animals, including those raised for food and certain species used in research. This means that millions of animals in industries like factory farming are not covered by these protections. The ESA, which is intended to prevent the extinction of endangered species, is also underfunded and often insufficient to protect animals adequately. Legal protections are often so narrow that they fail to address the broader, systemic problems facing animals, such as habitat destruction, climate change, and the proliferation of species at risk. In many cases, these laws only address specific instances of cruelty or endangerment without creating a comprehensive framework for long-term change. Government funding and resource allocation. Another key issue contributing to the failure of animal protection efforts is the lack of proper funding and resource allocation. Government agencies tasked with enforcing animal protection laws, such as the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Department of Agriculture, are often underfunded and understaffed. The allocation of resources to protect animal welfare is not considered a high priority compared to other issues like defense, infrastructure, or healthcare. As a result, many of these agencies are ill-equipped to investigate and prosecute animal cruelty or enforce regulations. In the case of wildlife conservation, agencies may have to stretch their limited resources across a wide range of animals and ecosystems, making it difficult to make significant progress. The lack of funding not only limits the effectiveness of these agencies, but also creates a culture of complacency where animal welfare is deprioritized. Public perception and awareness. The government's failure to protect animals can also be attributed to a general lack of public awareness and engagement on the issue. While there are many passionate animal advocates, animal rights do not always make it to the forefront of public policy debates. Many people are disconnected from the reality of animal suffering, particularly in industries like factory farming, where animals are often raised out of sight and mind. As a result, there is less public pressure on lawmakers to implement stricter protections for animals. In the absence of widespread public demand for change, politicians may not feel the urgency to prioritize animal welfare, especially when it conflicts with the interests of powerful industries. Furthermore, the media often focuses on more sensational topics, leaving animal rights issues largely ignored in mainstream conversations. Conclusion: the urgent need for government reform. The U.S. government's failure to protect animals is a complex issue with deep-rooted political, economic, and social factors. The influence of powerful lobbying groups, weak and outdated laws, insufficient funding for regulatory agencies, public apathy, and economic priorities all contribute to a system that fails to prioritize animal welfare. If the U.S. is to fulfill its ethical obligation to protect animals, it must enact stronger, more comprehensive laws, allocate more resources to enforcement, and listen to the voices of those advocating for animal rights. If you found this video as informative, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more. Thanks for watching.